So, Paul and Lily, you guys have worked together already. For those of you who didn't see the 2013 film Admission with Tina Fey and Paul Rudd, and you were Tina's mom. How did this all percolate in your mind from that experience that you would write this film for her?
Well, I would not have written it without that. First off, I find when I have a film come out, I'm kind of terrified, and I usually I try to be on the set of another movie to alleviate the anxiety. Um, and in this case, I wasn't on the set of another movie, so I decided to write something new, and I had Lily's voice in my head, and also I really felt, having spent a little bit of time with Lily on that film, that I wanted something where she was going to be in every scene. And look, there oddly in that movie, Lily had to she had to make sausage out of raw meat in one scene, and then she had to fix a bicycle in another scene. And I'll always remember going on set and seeing you literally learning how to fix a bicycle with a chain off and putting it on. And then we did the scene, and it really struck me that in the middle of this comedic banter with Tina, she was literally fixing the bike every time. And if she messed up fixing the bike, she would stop, or she would say, "I have to go back," regardless of whether the shot was above what you were doing with your hands. But I actually, literally, that really told me something, which was a type of
that I didn't know when the camera was on.
yeah. So when I sat down to write it, Lily's voice was in my head, and it informed everything that the character was doing. So she really helped me write it. Unfortunately, I had not told her I was writing something for her yet, so I sprung it on her at a lunch soon after.
What was your reaction to that?
Well, I was totally delighted. I mean, to have a movie, written with you in mind is very special when you're sort of not a movie star in that sense. So and it was a very good movie, and it was just sort of fit like a glove. So I was happy.
So when the blood left your face, it was pleasure as opposed to.
It's so fun to watch all these other characters float in and out of Elle's day. And I was thinking what it must be like as actors. It must be like being on deck, knowing that you're going to face a great pitcher on a baseball field. What was it like for you two kind of getting ready for those moments that you were going to have with Lily?
I was so nervous because it's Lily, and we'd never met. I think the first time we met, we did a rehearsal in the space, which didn't calm me down at all, actually, for our first day of shooting, because I was like, okay, it's fine. We're going to have rehearsal. I'll know what we're doing. I'll meet her for the first time. But then I was just still so nervous on the first day. But it was really incredible. And it was nice to know that I liked being in a movie that took place in one day. I thought, yeah, like these little stops along her way. And I felt... I was excited to see what the progression of her stops,
What about you, Sam?
It's always daunting when you have an opportunity to meet with someone and work with someone you've been a huge fan of for a long time. In this case, not only Paul, but Lily, and to work opposite Lily and to play a love interest to Lily was like, wow, And
listen, it was so great. The people that are in the movie are so good. I mean, that's just a tribute to Paul, don't you think, Sam?
I do indeed.
Well,
It was the material. The material
you.
just spoke to, I think across the board, it spoke to all of us, and that in fact's why we're there. In terms of my nerves, yeah, I was nervous. I was scared to death. But it made me work really hard on it before I got there, and I was ready to rock when I got there.
You did. I mean, this is one of the most, I think, intimate films I've seen in a long time. Clearly, it was a intimate production as well. 19 days that you shot it.
Yeah, it was 19 days, and credit to the cinematographer, Toby Datum. He shot it, or he lit it in such a fashion that I never felt rushed with the actors. It didn't. There was never a moment when I said, "Oh, I have to move on from something." Also, we had a little bit of time for rehearsal, and Lily and I had months really to sit down with the script, and every time I'd read a new draft, we would go over it and make sure that stuff was making sense to us. And yeah, the budget was just slightly under $600,000. which in this case was really fine. It was about two people with no money, so.
Sam, in your sequence with Lily, the vulnerability required from the two of you as actors, I guess, must have been alternately thrilling and frightening.
It was, and I think Paul and I were talking upstairs about this kind of small production, this little, I mean, it's the ultimate in terms of creativity, I think. But the overriding thing is it's just so damn much fun. It's fun. It's unencumbered by all the bullshit that comes with making big movies, and there's a lot of it, And it all allowed us to do what we did. Certainly allowed me to do what I did. And this guy just, every time Paul came to me, and it was so spare, whatever he would offer up, but it just goosed me all the more.
You're going to think I was poking you or stabbing you.
Well, somebody was poking me with something.
Given that it was such a scrappy production, when there's a scene like Lily, you and Judy arguing at each other, in the middle of the street, did you have rubberneckers? Were there people kind of poking out their window saying, what is going on?
There was a couple big pit bulls that walked by, and I'm not even joking. There was not really many people around.
I don't remember anything. I felt like I was arguing with my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is we were actually right next to an acting school.
Yeah.
and So yeah, literally walking in and out were people who were. I mean, I don't know that.
Notes? Were they taking notes?
I think they just thought it was
Giving
another school production or something with our footprint.
And Lily, I've seen you describe this movie as humanist as opposed to the word feminist. Why is that distinction important to you?
Well, I would say it was humanist because it tries to it's. I think the highest it could be is humanist in terms of just human behavior, human reactions, trying to gather all the points of view into one vehicle and not judging or. So I think that I don't think it's not that a feminist film like this would have been fine too, as long as it really was humanist. But I think feminism is humanism.
Sam, I want to talk about this incredible year that you had. I'm a huge fan of I'll See You in My Dreams, the film with Blythe Danner. I don't know if you all have seen it. Maybe they showed it here. Such a great performance in that. And now this. Are you excited about these opportunities you're getting in these great films this year?
I'm dumbfounded by them, but certainly excited. Yeah, I mean, we all, after almost 50 years, to still be at it is a wonderful thing, but to have the best of it coming, or certainly some of the best, I think probably the best, kind of at the end of the road rather than the beginning. I sure do appreciate it, and I'm really enjoying it.
Well, I congratulate you all, Lily, Paul, Sam, Judy. Thank you so much for being
you for
here.
having us.
Thanks so
Thank
much
you
for being
all.
with us.